I've said for quite a while that once we get the new show up and running, we're going to do a lot of podcasts. We're going to do a lot of streaming. We're going to do a lot of interviews that occur outside the show. And this is how we'll be doing them. Although if I'm interviewing somebody, obviously there'll be a second camera and you'll be able to see the person that I'm talking to. But the purpose of this video is to answer the questions about the new show. Because right now, even because I only have an hour on the weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m., it's hard to get in and remind everybody about what's happening. And so I'm getting a lot of emails about where are the podcasts, when are you on, where can we hear you? So I thought I'd just do this video to answer those questions. The first thing you need to know is the name of the show is not The Michael Brown Show. So if you're searching on iTunes or Spreaker or somewhere else for the show, and you're searching for The Michael Brown Show, you're probably not going to find it. The name of the show is Heck of a Show with Michael Brown. So you can find that if you use podcasts. You can find it on iTunes, you can find it on Spreaker, and I checked today and the podcasts are up. So here's the deal with the podcast though. If you subscribe to the old podcasts for the old show when I was on that other station, that little station, but now that I'm on KOA, you need to go back and find the new show and subscribe to those podcasts. And it doesn't make any difference whether you're using iTunes or Spreaker. You have to go in and subscribe to the new show. So you have to search for Heck of a Show with Michael Brown and subscribe to it. So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to go to iTunes and look up Heck of a Show with Michael Brown on the podcast. And when you find it, subscribe it. But I also want you to do me another favor. If you could leave a 5-star rating and a comment about why you like the show, that would really help a lot. So I'd appreciate you doing that. The other place, obviously, that you can subscribe is on Spreaker, Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. And again, when you go to that website, if that's where you get your podcasts, you're going to find the old Michael Brown Show on that other station, and then you're going to find the new show, Heck of a Show with Michael Brown, on the new station. So again, you're going to have to subscribe to the new show to get the podcasts. And they are there because I checked just today. Now let's talk about when the show occurs. The show, starting December 3rd, which is next Monday, will be live from 7 to 11 p.m. It's not live right now because we have the Dave Ramsey Show, and that contract doesn't end until November 30th. But we wanted to get the new show started and starting to get people acclimated. So for the past month, we've been doing a 1-hour show from 7 to 8 p.m. And those podcasts are up. But starting next Monday, the show will go live 7 p.m. Mountain Time until 11 p.m. And we're going to have all of the same things that we did before. You'll have Facebook, you'll have YouTube, you'll have Twitter, you'll have the text messaging service. You can text me at 56690, 56690. And if you're texting me outside the show hours, 7 to 11, let's say you want to send me a text right now as you're watching this, I would put the word Mike in there just so that I know it's for me and it's not for the other people that use it on one of the rock stations. And again, the text line is 56690. You can also email me, michaelbrown@KOANewsRadio.com. Follow me on Twitter @MichaelBrownUSA. And then there's a couple of other places I want you to go. And you can find all of these social media sites at KOANewsRadio.com, KOANewsRadio.com. And if you go to that page and you go over to where the shows are and you pull down the Michael Brown Show, you'll see all the little symbols, all the little icons for different social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. I'd really appreciate it if you would follow me on Instagram. And by the way, the username on Instagram is just Michael D. Brown. On Twitter, @MichaelBrownUSA. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/Michael D. Brown. And if you go to YouTube, it's youtube.com/Michael Brown Today. Now, you've heard me joke on air. It's not Michael Brown yesterday. It's not Michael Brown tomorrow. It's Michael Brown today. That's the way to remember it. So on YouTube, you go to youtube.com/Michael Brown Today. Now, if you want to make sure that you watch the show, you have to subscribe. So you hit the subscribe button, and I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. And then there's a little bell in the corner. And if you click that bell, you'll get a notification every time the radio show goes live, but you'll also get a notification that I'm doing an interview, or I'm just doing one of these things in the morning when I'm sitting here and I'm mad about something in the news, or there's something in the news I want to make a comment about that I won't have time to do on the show. You'll find it here. And you'll also be able to comment when we're doing these also. So I really would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the YouTube page, youtube.com/Michael Brown today. Now, let's talk about YouTube and Facebook for a minute. I had an email from a loyal listener last night that said, I tried to find you on YouTube and it says that it's blocked. I went over to Facebook and tried to find it on Facebook and it was blocked. Here's the sad story about Facebook and YouTube. Angie and I like to play a lot of good bumper music. In fact, I know that you guys like the bumper music. Oftentimes, though, we'll get a copyright ding for using that bumper music, and so YouTube will block us in the United States and sometimes all the countries in the world, and you won't be able to actually watch the YouTube video. So YouTube and Facebook are really for watching the program live between 7 and 11 o'clock Mountain Time, Monday through Friday. You're not always going to be able to watch the YouTube video later, particularly if it's the show, because we're going to get dinged for using music that, even though it's in our iHeart library, we still get dinged and the video gets blocked. That's another jumping point to remind you that's why you should subscribe to the podcast, because we don't get dinged on the podcast. We can play all the music in the world we want to, and there's no dinging. So you might subscribe to the podcast. And again, it's Heck of a Show with Michael Brown on iTunes, and the same thing on Spreaker. Now, last but not least, if you're looking for the podcast on the iHeart app, it's not there yet. The IT guys are trying to figure out why, but for some reason, the show, which is on iHeartRadio, is not appearing on the iHeartRadio app. So they're trying to get that fixed, and as soon as they get it fixed, that you'll be able to subscribe there, and you'll be able to, now you can still listen there right now, but you can only listen when the show is live. All right, so what have we covered? We've covered the name of the show is Heck of a Show with Michael Brown. It's not the Michael Brown Show, so when you're subscribing, you've got to look for Heck of a Show with Michael Brown. It's available on iTunes and Spreaker. Again, if you subscribe on iTunes, whatever podcast app you use doesn't make any difference. I happen to use a podcast app called Downcast, and I really like it, but you might find one that you like better. But I like Downcast. But when you subscribe on iTunes, I really would appreciate it if you give us a 5-star rating, and if you would leave a comment about why you liked the show. That'll help other people find the show, and that'll help us reach all the other people that we're going to be able to reach on KOA at night, because KOA is heard in 38 states and 2 countries, Canada, well, actually 3 countries, Canada, the United States, and Mexico. So we're going to try to really build this big audience using that KOA blowtorch. So if you subscribe on iTunes, a good rating, good comment is helpful. And also if you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/Michael Brown today. I think that covers everything. I want to remind you, though, that not until December 3rd, which is next Monday, do we actually go live for 4 hours from 7 to 11 p.m. Meantime, we're just doing the 1-hour show from 7 to 8 p.m. And I know it drives me nuts because, you know me, I got a lot to talk about, and there's just not a lot that I can do in 1 hour. So I think that covers the frequently asked questions that I wanted this YouTube or this Facebook and YouTube to be. So if you have any other questions, email me, michaelbrown@KOANewsRadio.com. Tweet at me at MichaelBrownUSA. You can send me a text message at 56690. If you just do that outside the show hours, be sure and put my name in there so that I know it's for me and it's not for one of the other shows that uses the text message service. So thank you for listening. We're real excited about doing this program. I've always wanted to get back on KOA, and now we're going to be able to be heard in 38 states. We're going to be able to be heard in a great time slot that's going to get a lot of people, and all of those that came over from the other station, I really appreciate that. So subscribe to the podcast. We'll get the iHeart app fixed as quickly as possible. And remember, when you're searching for us, it's Heck of a Show with Michael Brown. It's not that other name, which I don't want to repeat because I just don't want to confuse you. So subscribe to us, and we'll talk to you tonight at 7 p.m. Thanks.